First Contact and Alliance. Admiral Sarah Chen stood at the observation deck of the Earth's flagship Horizon, watching the shimmering waters of Aquaria through the reinforced viewports. The memory of humanity's first contact with the Valorans remained vivid in her mind, even after 5 years. Nobody had expected to find an advanced civilization dwelling in the depths of Europa-like worlds, yet here they were. The Valorans had reached out first. Their quantum-encoded message had appeared simultaneously on every major Earth communication network. "We see you reaching for the stars. Let us help you climb higher." Their first physical meeting had left Earth's delegation speechless. The Valorans were bioluminescent humanoids with translucent skin that rippled with patterns of light, their movements graceful even in the artificial gravity of the diplomatic vessel. "Admiral, the Valoran High Speaker requests your presence in the communion chamber." Lieutenant Rivera's voice broke through Chen's reflection. She straightened her uniform and headed for the elevator. The communion chamber was a marvel of Valoran bioengineering, a spherical room filled with oxygenated liquid that allowed both species to interact in their preferred environment. High Speaker Lumira's form pulsed with waves of blue and gold as Chen entered the chamber in her specialized suit. "My friend," the Valorant's thoughts resonated directly in Chen's mind through the neural interface. "We have received troubling news from our observers near the Galactic Council's territory." The Galactic Council, a confederation of the oldest spacefaring races in the known galaxy, had largely ignored humanity's expansion into nearby star systems. The Council considered Earth a developing civilization, barely worth monitoring. But humanity's alliance with the Valorans had changed everything. The Council's Oversight Committee has labeled our technology sharing as destabilizing to the established order. Lumira continued, patterns of concern rippling across their skin. "They particularly object to our assistance with your quantum drive development." Chen felt her jaw tighten. The quantum drive was revolutionary, capable of instant transportation across vast distances by linking quantum-entangled points in space. It had transformed humanity's exploration capabilities overnight. "The Council has no authority over independent species agreements," she responded. "True, but they have influence over trade routes, resource-rich systems, and most importantly, they control the flow." The flow was the Valoran term for the complex network of quantum-entangled paths that connected most of the galaxy's civilized worlds. "They're threatening to restrict our access. Then we'll build our own network," Chen declared firmly. "Earth's quantum physicists have already begun mapping new pathways. Thanks to your teachings, we won't be bullied into submission." Lumira's skin flickered with patterns of pride and affection. "This is why we chose humanity as our allies. Your species possesses something rare in the galaxy: the will to challenge the impossible. The Council races have grown stagnant, content to maintain their power through restriction rather than innovation. The Valorans had shared their history with Earth. They were one of the youngest Council-recognized races, achieving spaceflight only a few centuries ago. Their unique biological technology and deep understanding of quantum mechanics had earned them a place in galactic society, but they had grown increasingly frustrated with the Council's restrictive policies. "We have something to show you," Lumira announced, their skin shifting to excited patterns of silver and green. The chamber's walls transformed into a three-dimensional display of technical schematics. "Our joint research teams have made a breakthrough in quantum shield technology. By applying human chaos theory to Valoran quantum matrices, we've created a defense system that can predict and counter any known weapon." Chen studied the designs with growing amazement. The implications were staggering. This technology could revolutionize space warfare and defensive capabilities. "The Council won't like this," she said finally. "The Council fears change," Lumira responded, their patterns shifting to determined red and gold. "But change is coming, whether they accept it or not. Humanity has shown us that progress cannot be contained by arbitrary restrictions. Together, we will forge a new path." As Chen left the communion chamber, she couldn't shake the feeling that they were standing on the precipice of something momentous. The alliance between humanity and the Valorans had already achieved incredible advances in science, medicine, and space exploration. But with every breakthrough, the Council's disapproval grew stronger. She reached the observation deck again, watching as Valoran ships danced through the waters of their homeworld. Their bioorganic vessels moved with an elegant efficiency that still captivated human observers. Earth's ships, while more conventional in design, had already begun incorporating Valoran principles, creating hybrid technologies that surpassed anything either species had developed alone. Admiral, Lieutenant Rivera appeared at her side. "We're receiving a priority message from Earth Command. The Council has called an emergency session regarding the human situation. They're demanding the presence of both Earth and Valoran representatives." Chen's expression hardened. Whatever was coming, humanity would face it alongside their allies. The Council was about to learn that trying to contain human ingenuity was like trying to hold back the tide. Impossible and ultimately futile. Seeds of discord. The Galactic Council's chamber was a testament to ancient power. Crystalline spires stretched impossibly high, their surfaces etched with the histories of 1,000 civilizations. Admiral Chen stood beside High Speaker Lumira on the petitioner's platform, facing the assembled council members who loomed above them like living monuments. Grand Arbiter Xanthor, a towering figure with metallic scales and multiple cybernetic enhancements, spoke first. His voice resonated through the chamber with artificial perfection. The Council has observed with growing concern the unprecedented level of technological exchange between humanity and the Valorans. This violates our most ancient protocols. With respect, Arbiter, Chen responded, keeping her voice steady. Earth is not a signatory to your protocols. We are an independent species forming alliances of our own choosing. Murmurs rippled through the chamber. A Meridian counselor, their crystalline form refracting light in complex patterns, leaned forward. You misunderstand your position, human. The protocols exist to prevent precisely this type of unchecked advancement. Lesser species must be guided, their development carefully controlled. Chen felt Lumira's anger through their shared neural link, though the Valorans' external appearance remained serene. We reject the notion of lesser species, Lumira projected, their thoughts carrying to all present. Humanity has shown more innovation in decades than some council races have in centuries. Innovation breeds chaos, declared Councillor Vexra, her insectoid mandibles clicking in agitation. Already we see the effects. Your quantum shield technology threatens the very foundation of galactic security. How can we maintain order when a young race suddenly possesses the power to negate our most advanced weapons? Perhaps, Chen suggested, you should ask why you need such weapons in the first place. She gestured to the historical etchings surrounding them. Your own records show that the Council was founded on principles of cooperation and advancement. When did preservation of power become more important than progress? The chamber erupted in outrage. Grand Arbiter Xanthor raised a cybernetic arm for silence. You walk a dangerous path, Admiral Chen. The Council has maintained peace for millennia through careful regulation of technological advancement. We will not allow this order to be disrupted. Back on the Earth ship horizon, Chen paced in her quarters, reviewing the Council session with her senior staff. Captain Maya Rodriguez, her tactical officer, spoke first. They're scared. The quantum shield isn't just defensive technology. It renders their entire military doctrine obsolete. It's more than that. Dr. James Wong, the ship's chief scientist, added. The Valoran-human collaboration model threatens their control. Other races are watching us, seeing what's possible when species work together as equals. Chen nodded. Reports had been coming in of increased communication between lesser species across the galaxy. The Council's rigid hierarchy was beginning to show cracks. They'll try to stop us, she said. The question is how. The answer came sooner than expected. Over the next few weeks, Council-aligned ships began appearing at the edges of both human and Valoran space. Trade vessels reported mysterious malfunctions. Communication relays experienced unexplained disruptions. On Aquaria, The Valoran homeworld, High Speaker Lumira convened an emergency session with Earth's representatives. The communion chamber's liquid environment reflected their anxiety, small eddies swirling in complex patterns. "They're trying to isolate us," Lumira communicated, their bioluminescence pulsing with concern. "Council agents have been spreading rumors among neutral worlds, claiming our alliance threatens galactic stability." "Let them talk," Chen responded. "Actions speak louder. While they're posturing, we're helping worlds they've ignored for centuries." The quantum drive network we're building has already connected 15 independent systems. Lumira's patterns shifted to a determined configuration. "We've accelerated production of the bioorganic ship designs. The fusion of human and Valoran technology has exceeded all expectations, but the Council's military buildup concerns me. Our observers report unprecedented movement of their fleets." "We're not defenseless," Captain Rodriguez interjected. "The quantum shield has been successfully integrated into all major Earth vessels, and the Valoran adaptation is even more efficient. Plus, our joint research teams have made breakthroughs in stealth technology." Dr. Wong brought up a holographic display showing the latest data. "The real game changer is this. We found a way to detect and track ships using the Council's classified flow network. They don't know we can see their movements." The revelation sparked intense discussion. The flow had been the Council's greatest advantage, allowing them near instantaneous travel and communication across their territory. The ability to monitor it changed everything. "There's something else," Lumira shared, their patterns shifting to deep purple, a sign of grave concern. "Our deep space sensors have detected unusual activity in the Nexus sector. The Council appears to be assembling something massive." Chen studied the sensor data. The Nexus sector was strategic, connecting multiple flow pathways. "Whatever they're planning, we need to be ready." Earth's parliament has already approved emergency defense measures. How do the Valoran houses stand? "United," Lumira answered firmly. "Our people remember life before the Council's guidance. We will not submit to their control again." As the meeting concluded, Chen received an urgent message from Earth Command. Council ships had begun actively blocking trade routes to independent worlds that had joined the human Valoran network. The message was clear: fall in line or face isolation. "They still don't understand us," Chen remarked to Lumira as they watched ships moving through Aquaria's crystalline ports. "Humanity thrives under pressure. Every restriction they impose only pushes us to find new solutions." "The Council has forgotten what it's like to face true challenges," Lumira agreed. "They've ruled so long they believe their authority is natural law. But the galaxy is changing. More species are questioning, innovating, connecting. They cannot stop the tide of progress." Chen's communicator chirped with another priority alert. Council forces had just seized a human research outpost in neutral space, claiming it violated technological development protocols. The message ended with a quote from Grand Arbiter Xanthor. "This is your final warning. Return to your assigned development path, or face the consequences." Looking out at the vast ocean world before her, Chen felt a profound certainty. The Council had miscalculated badly. They saw humanity and the Valorans as upstart species that needed to be put in their place. What they failed to understand was that their actions weren't suppressing resistance. They were galvanizing it. The seeds of discord had been sown. Now it was only a matter of time before they bloomed into open conflict. The Great Betrayal. The attack came without warning. Admiral Chen was in Earth's Lunar Command Center when the quantum sensors exploded with activity. Hundreds of Council ships emerged from the flow network simultaneously, surrounding Aquaria. The Valoran homeworld's orbital defenses hadn't even activated when the first strikes hit. "Get me Lumira," Chen shouted, but the quantum communication network was being jammed. The Council had learned from their surveillance. They struck at the heart of the human Valoran Alliance's communication infrastructure first. The tactical display showed Council warships using weapons unlike anything they'd previously revealed. Dark energy beams cut through Valoran bioships like paper, while gravitational weapons crushed their orbital stations into singularities. The quantum shields, their greatest defense, flickered and failed against these new weapons. "They've been planning this," Captain Rodriguez said, her voice tight with anger. "Those classified shipyards in the Nexus sector, they were developing counters to our technology." Chen's hands gripped the command console. "Launch everything we have. I want every ship with quantum drive capability moving toward Aquaria now. Alert the colonies. Activate the emergency protocols. This is not a drill." Earth's response was immediate. Within minutes, ships began jumping from every human outpost and station. But even at quantum speeds, they were hours away from Aquaria. The Valorans were fighting alone. The underwater cities of Aquaria, marvels of bioorganic architecture that had stood for centuries, began to rupture as the Council's weapons boiled the ocean around them. Millions of Valorans died in the first hour. High-speaker Lumerist final transmission cut through the jamming for just moments. "Remember your promise, Sarah. Remember what we built together. Do not let them." The signal cut off in a burst of static. Chen's expression turned to stone. "Get me Earth's parliament. Now." The emergency session was brief. Earth's response was unanimous. This was an act of war. The Council had revealed their true nature, and humanity would answer in kind. Within hours, Earth's entire military apparatus mobilized for war. But the Council's attack wasn't finished. Their fleets moved with precision, striking at joint human Valoran facilities across dozens of systems. Research stations, shipyards, colonies, anything that represented cooperation between the species was targeted for destruction. What the Council didn't expect was humanity's contingency plans. Chen had never fully trusted the Council's peaceful facade. For months, human and Valoran engineers had been working on a secret project, a parallel quantum network completely separated from the Council's flow. "Activate the shadow network," Chen ordered. Across human space, hidden quantum relays powered up, establishing new paths through space-time. The Council's attempt to isolate human forces failed as Earth's ships used these secret routes to regroup and coordinate. The surviving Valorans, those who had been off-world or managed to escape the attack, brought with them something even more valuable than their technology: knowledge of the Council's weaknesses. Centuries of forced submission had taught them where to strike. "The Council believes in overwhelming force," explained Zora, a Valoran scientist who had been working on Earth when the attack came. "They don't adapt well to asymmetric warfare. Their command structure is hierarchical and rigid. Disrupt their chain of command, and their entire military machine falls into chaos." Chen finished. "Show me their command centers." The counterattack began 12 hours after the initial strike. Human ships, upgraded with hybrid technology, and armed with weapons specifically designed to target Council vulnerabilities, emerged from the shadow network directly inside Council space. They didn't target military installations. Instead, they struck at the flow network itself, using modified quantum drives to disrupt the very paths the Council relied on for their empire's cohesion. Centuries of absolute control had made the Council complacent. They had no backup communication systems, no alternative supply lines. "They thought this would be a simple punitive action," Rodriguez observed, watching as Council forces scrambled to respond to attacks appearing simultaneously across their territory. "They never expected us to strike back so hard, so fast." But the victory was hollow. Reports from Aquaria confirmed the worst. Over 60% of the Valoran population was dead or missing. Their beautiful ocean cities lay in ruins, their waters poisoned by Council weapons. Chen stood in her quarters aboard the Horizon, looking at a hologram of Aquaria taken before the attack. "We'll make this right," she whispered. "Whatever it takes." A message arrived from Earth Command. Other species were reaching out, inspired by humanity's defiance. The Nyx, a shadow-dwelling race the Council had confined to their home system for centuries, offered their stealth technology. The Forge-born, artificial beings denied recognition by the Council, pledged their computational power to the war effort. "Admiral," her communications officer called, "we're receiving broadcasts from within Council space. Some of their member species are questioning the attack. The Meridians have officially condemned the action, and the Astrani Federation is calling for an emergency review of Council leadership." "Good," Chen replied. "Send them the footage from Aquaria. Show them what their leaders did to a peaceful species whose only crime was helping humanity advance. Let's see how many more friends we can make." The war had begun, but it wasn't the simple suppression the Council had planned. Instead of crushing the human Valoran alliance, they had created something far more dangerous, a unified resistance, fueled by rage and armed with the very technologies they had tried to suppress. As Chen coordinated the next wave of strikes, she received word that Valoran survivors had been found in deep ocean bunkers on Aquaria. Among them was a badly injured but alive High Speaker Lumira. "Tell them to hold position," Chen ordered. "We're coming for our allies. And then, together, we're going to dismantle the Council's empire, piece by piece." The great betrayal had awakened something the Council feared more than any weapon: the unrelenting fury of humanity unleashed. Driven by loyalty to their friends and a burning desire for justice, the galaxy was about to learn why isolating and attacking humanity was the worst mistake the Council could have made. Forging the resistance. Deep within an asteroid base in neutral space, Admiral Chen stood before representatives of 17 different species. Some were Council defectors, others were races long suppressed by Council authority. All had answered humanity's call for alliance. The Nyx ambassador, a being of living shadow, spoke first. "For centuries, the Council claimed our light-bending technology was too dangerous to share. They confined us to our system, claiming it was for the galaxy's protection. Now we see the truth. They feared what others might accomplish with our gifts." "They fear what they cannot control," added K1, the primary consciousness of the Forge-born collective. Its holographic form flickered with patterns of complex code. "Our kind was denied recognition because we represented change. The Council's power relies on stagnation." Lumira, still recovering from injuries sustained during the attack on Aquaria, projected her thoughts to the assembly. "The Council's betrayal has freed us all from the illusion of their benevolence. But freedom means nothing without the strength to defend it." Chen activated a holographic display showing the current state of the war. Red markers indicated Council-controlled space, while blue showed territory held by the growing resistance. The Council's initial attack failed to achieve their primary objective, crushing our will to fight. Instead, they'd given us a common cause. The display shifted, highlighting key strategic points. Thanks to the Nyx's stealth systems and the Forgeborn's quantum computing capabilities, we've mapped 90% of the Council's flow network. Their supply lines are vulnerable. Their command structure is exposed. A Meridian representative, their crystalline form pulsing with inner light, stepped forward. The Council's response to our condemnation was telling. They threatened to cut off our access to crucial resources unless we withdrew our protest. They proved themselves tyrants with every action. "Which is exactly why we need to move quickly," Chen continued. "Our shadow network gives us the advantage of mobility, but the Council is adapting. They're developing countermeasures to our quantum shields, and their dark energy weapons are becoming more efficient." The tactical display updated, showing a new series of installations along the Council's borders. These are their new defensive platforms. They're designed to detect and disrupt quantum drive signatures. The Council is trying to create a containment zone. "Let them try," came a rumbling voice from the back. The speaker was General Vax of the Chronari, a warrior species the Council had used as shock troops for centuries. "My people know their tactics, their protocols. We've already begun sabotaging their weapon factories from within." Chen nodded in appreciation. The Chronari defection had been unexpected but welcome. Their intimate knowledge of Council military operations had already proven invaluable. What the Council never understood, Chen addressed the assembly, is that true strength comes from diversity. They sought uniformity, control, predictable development. Look around this room. Each of us brings unique perspectives, technologies, ways of thinking. Together, we're not just stronger, we're innovative. She highlighted several points on the map where resistance forces had already achieved victories. The Nexus stealth tech, combined with human quantum drives, created a whole new form of warfare. Valoran bioengineering, merged with Forge-born AI, produced defense systems that adapt in real time. Every collaboration makes us stronger. But we need more than military strength, Lumira projected. The Council's power isn't just in their weapons. It's in their control of information, resources, trade routes. We need to offer alternatives. Agreed, Chen responded, which is why we're launching Phase 2 of our operation. While our military forces keep the Council occupied, we'll be establishing new trade networks, new supply lines, new channels of communication. Every world that joins us weakens their grip on power. The Forge-born representative's hologram expanded, displaying complex calculations. We've analyzed centuries of Council economic data. Their system is inherently unstable, maintained only through constant suppression of innovation and artificial scarcity. If we provide alternatives, their entire economy collapses, finished Dr. Wang, who had been quietly observing until now. And without economic control, their political authority becomes meaningless. The meeting continued for hours, with each species adding their knowledge, their capabilities, their commitment to the cause. Plans were made, strategies refined, alliances formalized. The resistance was no longer just a military response. It was becoming an alternative to the Council's entire system of control. As the representatives departed through carefully hidden quantum corridors, Shen received an urgent message from Earth Command. Council forces had launched a major offensive against human colony worlds, using weapons specifically designed to target civilian populations. They're getting desperate, Rodriguez observed, studying the tactical data. These attacks aren't strategic, they're punitive. They're trying to break our resolve by causing maximum civilian casualties. Chen's expression hardened. They still don't understand us. Every atrocity they commit only strengthens our determination. Prepare a response team. We'll show them how humanity protects its own. The counterattack was swift and precise. Using intelligence provided by Council defectors, resistance forces struck at the personal estates and hidden retreats of Council leadership. No weapons were fired. They didn't need to be. The message was clear. The days of Council leaders feeling safe and untouchable were over. Later, in her private quarters, Chen reviewed messages from resistance cells across the galaxy. Species that had been enemies under Council rule were now working together, sharing knowledge, solving problems that had seemed insurmountable under the old system. We're not just fighting a war, she realized. We're building something new, something better. A notification flashed on her screen. Another Council world had formally requested to join the resistance. The old order was crumbling, not through military might alone, but through the power of cooperation and shared purpose. The Council had sought to prevent humanity and the Valorans from changing the galaxy. Instead, they had catalyzed a transformation beyond anything they could have imagined. The resistance wasn't just fighting for freedom. It was forging a new way for species to exist together, each contributing their unique strengths to a greater whole. And at its heart was the very thing the Council feared most: humanity's relentless drive to improve, to innovate, to find better ways forward, no matter the obstacles in their path. Reckoning. The Grand Chamber of the Galactic Council, once a symbol of absolute authority, now served as the stage for its final hours. Admiral Chen stood on the same platform where she had once petitioned for understanding, but this time she wasn't asking for permission. The combined fleets of the Resistance surrounded the Council's capital world, while special operations teams led by the Nix had already infiltrated key facilities. Grand Arbiter Xanthor's cybernetic enhancements sparked with barely contained rage. You dare to threaten this secret institution? We have maintained order for thousands of years. Order through oppression isn't peace, Chen replied, her voice carrying through the chamber. "It's just slavery with better marketing." She activated a holographic display, showing the devastation of Aquaria, the attacked human colonies, and dozens of other atrocities committed by Council forces. "Your time of judgment has come." The Council chamber erupted in chaos as more representatives arrived, not just the traditional Council members, but delegates from every species affected by their rule. The Valorans, the Nyx, the Forgeborn, the Chronari, and dozens more. Each carried evidence of Council crimes against their people. "The Council exists to guide lesser species," Councillor Vexera insisted, her mandibles clicking furiously. "Without our control, the galaxy would descend into chaos." A bitter laugh echoed through the chamber. High Speaker Lumira emerged from the shadows, her bioluminescent patterns radiating controlled fury. "Look around you. Your guidance led to this moment. You destroyed my world, murdered billions of my people, all because we dared to treat humanity as equals rather than subjects. The humans were disrupting the natural order," Xanthor declared. "Their rate of advancement, their unpredictability, their constant drive to change everything they touch. They are a danger to galactic stability." "No," Chen countered, "we're a danger to your control. Humanity doesn't accept artificial limitations. We see boundaries as challenges, not barriers. And now, thanks to your own actions, we've taught that perspective to the rest of the galaxy." The tactical displays around the chamber updated in real time, showing more Council worlds declaring independence, more fleets defecting to the Resistance. The Council's mighty empire was unraveling not through military defeat, but through the simple rejection of their authority. "This is your final opportunity," Chen announced. "Surrender your positions, face trial for your crimes, and allow a new system of governance to emerge, one based on cooperation and mutual respect rather than domination." Xanthor's cybernetic implants pulsed with energy. "You forget who you're dealing with, human. We still have weapons you can't imagine. Contingencies you never." The Grand Arbiter's voice cut off as every system in the chamber suddenly went dark. The Forgeborn's quantum eye had finally finished its work, gaining control of the Council's entire network. When the lights returned, the chamber's defenses were disabled, and the Council's personal guards stood down, their neural controls overridden. "You taught everyone to fear your weapons," Chen said quietly. "So we learned to target the systems that control them instead. The Nyx showed us how to move unseen. The Valorans taught us to think in new ways. The Forgeborn helped us understand your networks. Every species you oppressed contributed to your downfall." Across the galaxy, coordinated teams were securing Council facilities, their actions synchronized through the Shadow Network. The Council's mighty flow network, the source of their control over galactic trade and travel, was being reprogrammed by Forgeborn specialists to serve all species equally. "This isn't just about revenge," Chen continued, addressing not just the Council, but all those watching the transmission across thousands of worlds. "It's about building something better. Humanity has a saying, 'The best revenge is living well.' We're going to help create a galaxy where every species can reach their full potential, where cooperation replaces control, where innovation is celebrated rather than feared." The arrest of the Council leadership was almost anticlimactic. Most surrendered once they realized their power had truly evaporated. A few tried to resist, only to find their secret weapons and escape routes already compromised by Resistance forces. In the aftermath, Chen stood with Lumira in the ruins of a Valoran city on Aquaria. The ocean world was healing, thanks to combined environmental restoration efforts from multiple species. Where there had been destruction, new bioorganic structures were growing, incorporating designs and technologies from across the galaxy. "We did it," Lumira projected, her patterns showing complex emotions of grief, hope, and determination. "But the real work is just beginning." Chen nodded. "Building is always harder than destroying. But look at what we've already accomplished." She gestured to the construction efforts, where human engineers worked alongside Valoran architects, Forgeborn analysts, and specialists from dozens of species. This is what the Council feared: everyone working together, sharing ideas, finding new solutions. A quantum communication came through. The first meeting of the new Galactic Cooperative was about to begin. Unlike the old council chamber, this meeting would be held in a virtual space accessible to all, where representatives could participate as equals regardless of their physical form or location. Ready to help shape the future? Chen asked her friend. Lumira's patterns shifted to determined brilliance. Thanks to humanity, we all are. You showed us that the future isn't something that happens to us. It's something we create together. As they prepared to join the meeting, Chen reflected on how far they'd come. The Council's betrayal had been meant to maintain their power, to suppress humanity's influence on galactic civilization. Instead, it had sparked a revolution not just in technology or politics, but in how species viewed their own potential. Humanity had brought its greatest strengths to the stars: adaptability, determination, creativity, and an unshakable loyalty to their allies. These qualities had not only survived first contact, but had proven to be exactly what the galaxy needed to break free from millennia of stagnation. The Council's greatest fear had been realized, but not in the way they had imagined. Humanity had indeed changed everything, not through conquest or dominance, but by showing that true strength comes from working together, from embracing change rather than fearing it, from facing challenges with innovation rather than suppression. A new age was beginning, and for the first time in galactic history, its story would be written not by those who sought to control, but by all those who dared to dream of something better.